Hello, traders. It's E from MarketWizards.com and Eminiwizard.com. Doing a short video over the weekend. Take a look at a couple of things. First of all, let's get our disclosure out of the way. A reminder, use risk capital you can afford to lose. This is a risky business. And a reminder that we use a number of ideas, not just one or two indicators, but a better balance, I believe, is achieved by having a number of them and then trying to determine which ones are the most appropriate at any given moment in time. So they're all part of a system and all important. Just like all the various parts of a car, can't go anyplace if you don't have tires and a steering wheel and gas in the car and roads and whatever. So it's the same thing. You need a system, and you need more than just one idea if you're going to be a good trader, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at a 60-minute Globex chart. I've marked up a couple of charts for my own purposes, and I'll keep these obviously in view so that I can continue to analyze and come up with ideas that might help me make decisions and make better decisions in the market. Notice the rain line up here. We had that egregious push at the end of the day Thursday that just rocketed up, and most of us had no clue why. And most times we don't have time to even understand why. We just know that the market is moving. And it ran stops. And the first thing that I look for is what are we doing with the trade idea? If it's, even if you're not in the trade. And my feeling was, okay, these guys are just squeezing, and they were attempting to knock out the highs. And we don't know until we wake up the next day. If you're not a pajama trader, you have your ideas where your resistance is. I had actually said that 98 was my resistance, and then the next target above 3305. That was what I had looked at, 3306 potential. And I said, let's use that for resistance. And then it sits there and sits there. And overnight, it pulls back. And I wake up and I'm saying, wow, they pulled it all the way back here. So that 82 support that was aggressive support, which I felt they needed to hold to continue to squeeze, they let that go. And that was a function, in my opinion, of several things. One of them, that 78 to 82 area, was basically last week's low. Was at 80. So I figured if we could get back under it, then we could still come back and retrace some of this move. So this chart, very helpful. And then once we bust the overnight low, it's really lights out, and it just keeps on going, and nobody knows exactly where it's going. We had targets along the way. And as you'll see, this chart is an umbrella trade, first, third time through. And once we broke in here, it was just, all right, come on down. And here was our, bounds to take profits. And at that time, we had 48 to 52 as resistance because we had broken that neighborhood. And then targets opened up below to try to tackle that 37. And then if we could do that, we thought we could take out 33, and then primary target 23.5, and then even potential for 1775. That was a measured move idea, and then the 1175 gap was also a measured move idea. So this chart, very helpful looking at the bigger play. Drilling it back to a 30, you can see a little squirrely up here trying to understand moving averages. I don't use just moving averages, but they're helpful, especially in this umbrella trade. Once we get underneath the green, red, blue, magenta line, it's an umbrella trade. And the more of the time frames that it's in this position, the more likely it is to be an umbrella trade. So much more confidence if it's under on a 60 or a 30, as well as the 5s and the 2s and whatever. So, I'm not going to regurgitate, obviously, the same targets we talked about, but you can see once we're underneath this is the knife that falls, and we never do come back out of this green line. This fast line has kept this pushing all day long. And again, not looking to understand the why of it. Who knows whether it has things to do with the impeachment or the virus? Nobody knows. I just look to see what's in motion and where's it going. So again, right here, you could see kind of how dicey this was on the 15, and I was really looking for this trading range right here early. This is 72 area and 82 area, and trade the range, and then let's see. And caution actually told everybody, let's see what happens with news. And news comes out, you got to work around that, and then we break to the downside, and then it's okay. We've taken out the low, and we want to come back and test that 54, right? That was last year's high. We want to come down and test the 52 area. The first break was back up here in that 62 area. And we want to come back and test that. And this thing just plunges and comes right down hard and fast, little bounce. And then, second and third thrusts, you can usually hit your first bounces and second bounces in a killer day. Not every day is going to be like this, obviously, but if it can't break the moving average line, then you're still good to go on that trend. Here's your 5. These are all Globex charts, not RTH. And you can see, once we break, here's the umbrella trade. You cannot beat this pattern. If you want to be an expert at finding windfall trades, not your little 2 and 5 point trades, but these windfall trades, which you should open your mind up to achieving, then you want to look at these type of patterns. And every time you get a bounce to the next line, you're going to try to hit it. So here's green, green, green. Here's the red hit. And then the bounce coming in here at lunchtime. Blue line hits it. It's lights out for the afternoon. Come down and hit those targets we talked about. And then into the close, we come right back up into the blue line. So certainly this chart very helpful. This chart is showing the setup trade. And again, the same thing. This was a 2-minute Globex that was the setup that just knocked out all of the traders that were hoping for the short side. I know we were thinking short side. We kept saying, we're due for this pullback. And this was a surprise at the end of the day to, in my opinion, not to get back to the 70 area, but to break that 78 to 82 and to just charge up here. That surprised me. And I call this the markup and the stop run. They take out that 92 and then obviously start to roll over. So this certainly is the same pattern. If you want a fast, hard pattern, look at your 2s or 1s or 3s, because you'll see it much faster in these speed demon trades, and any of these squeezes or anything coming the reversal to it. I've marked up my chart. That was we just looked at this part. This is a 3-minute chart. You can see how we come under and over, and then we catch and we hold here. And then the 3-minute chart, you can see this beautiful rotation. Finally get above it, but that's going to hit up here in a 5 and slow it down and come right back down. And I call this the umbrella trade. Shakeout was up here, knock out the stops at 92s, take it about 5 points higher. And you really want to keep an eye on that 92, because once we get under it and stay under, then the assumption is that it's a shakeout trade and nothing more. And then we get this power move down, and last year's high, 29.54. Keep note of that. The week open was back here at 69.75. Call it 70. That's why we thought this was an important area that do or die at the open. If we break that and come down, then we said, okay, we've got one more huge objective. Don't know if we can get there, but obviously the month opened at 37, and so that's a marker that we kept prominent in our mind all day long, and we actually use that as a fulcrum for this trade that bounced. We said, look, you really want to use 48 to 52 max for a bounce, because we think we can come back and retest that 37. So key idea, natural numbers, follow natural numbers, not just ideas in your head. And those were all things that were important, as was that 80 prior week's low. Our primary target, 23.5, that was a measured move, and the 1775 and even the 1175 I called as not ruled out. Lower odds, and didn't think they would stay there if they did get there. Warned everybody to be cautious below 22. Anything below 22, the gift area, that turned out to be true. Educated guess, and worked out for the bounce into the close, because who in their right mind is going to have an 85-point swing and not want to take some profits? That was my look at that. 48 resistance. This is a 1-minute chart. Note the break. Note the umbrella trade. Note how as we turn and we come down, we're going to break on a 1 above and below. That's why I want 2s and 3s as well, and 5s to see, because if you just rely on the 1, you can't see this. But even if you caught a part of this move, come on, that's a good day's work. You don't have to get every bit of the trade. You take a lunch break, you come back at it. Here's your 1, hits the rain line perfectly, 38 resistance we had there. And this comes down again and flushes out the traders, and then comes back up into the close. And in my opinion, this was one of the best days shorts have had in a long time. 32.10, we had a stop. So that's stop until broken at this point. Here's our bigger look, and in this bigger look, I've got the year and the month's range. And one quick look at this gives me so much information. I've got this in other smaller denominations, but just looking at this tells me all the things that I really need to know in one glance, including large areas, the top 2 boxes, resistance, bottom 2, support, normally range trade the middle until we get substantial break and then come back and test higher. So you can see where that 98, really a good idea of resistance, and you can see that on this chart. So anybody paying attention to this really had themselves a winner if they played this short side. And psychology here was stop out everybody and makes people wary, but this was all no support built up by this gigantic run. And when we get that, I thought it might take another day, might mess around for month-end close and then come back on Monday or Tuesday with this return trip. But the market was ready to come right back, and kudos to those traders who call that. Middle 59.25. So that was a target and a reference point that we wanted to understand. We had 81.25 as the flipper on the predictive chart. So realistically, we said 82. We wanted to see holds. Seen a crime, 86.5. So we thought that was our resistance for the day to come backwards and test support. And right out of the gate, first thing I said to our traders was testing for support. Once we break that 55 to 54 area, we open the door to come down. Obviously, we wanted to test 40. That was this shelf right here that had held the previous day. Once we take that out, we open the door to the next level. Notice the 20. So give it a couple of points either side, but certainly that was the neighborhood that we were searching for, and then good fortune, anything below that into this next box. And our tunnel through time, note how we bounce off, we come up, we stall, we come back and bounce off, come up, we stall, we come back, knife down, and really oversold into this swing based on the volatility bands that I had on here. Couple of people have asked me, wouldn't I do a video, please? I haven't done it in a while. Truthfully, I'm not running a room right now. I'm taking a little time off, working on my trading, working on a few other projects, and trying to help the guys who made a commitment to me in the Eagles room. So every day I'm trying to share a few ideas with them and post some thoughts and charts. That's a strictly bonus for them. There's no charge for that. If you have interest in any of our products, get in touch. More than happy to chat with people and see if we can help you with your trading. Other than that, not really promoting anything right now, just trying to help from one trader to another, share ideas that I've been looking at. And thanks for taking the time to look at this video. and hopefully it will help you. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for your interactions on Twitter with your likes and retweets and your posts, and I wish you well. Enjoy that ball game tomorrow night if you're a football fan, and have a great weekend. E from MarketWizards.com and Eminiwizard.com signing off.